On today's episode of the DeRaud Messenger Show, we have some exciting news for Longhorns fans. Of course, it seems like we've been getting some excitement, but this is very exciting. We got Colin Simmons, the 5-star edge rusher out of Duncanville, committing to Texas. Longhorns fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. Honestly, it's what keeps us going on those hard days, doesn't it, Dylan? But, to get the video underway, Dylan, I see a little bit of shake in the head there. I don't know if I can believe that. Guys, he stays up some nights just talking to me about how much he would just die for a like. But anyway, the Duncanville product, 6'3", 225 pounds, the 8th ranked player according to the 24/7 Sports Composite, which, of course, for you recruiting gurus is the source for recruiting rankings. And additionally, he is the top-ranked edge rusher in the country and, Dylan, more fun facts, the top-ranked player in Texas. So, of course, bodes well for Texas in the recruiting class for the 2024 cycle. And also, of course, automatically becomes the top-ranked player in Steve Sarkisian's 2024 cycle as well. Now, Dylan, no shocker, Simmons, if you watched any tape on the man, he is a beast. He has 45 collegiate offers from, you name it in terms of top schools. But ultimately, this race came down to a little bit of a shocker, Dylan. Miami, who would have thought, maybe Cristobal's doing something over there. But Miami and LSU. Now, Dylan might have some comments about those LSU Tigers head coach. Shortly, we'll see how recruiting savvy wants to go in terms of in-depth analysis of their 360 film cameras. But Texas, wins out here, so it's a happy day for Longhorns fans. Last season, Dylan, I know I'm gonna throw every stat I have at the book at you guys and Dylan specifically. Got to make sure to put him in his place occasionally. He tallied last year, Dylan. This is gonna sound crazy. We talked about it briefly before we started recording. 79 tackles for the Duncanville Panthers in their state championship winning season. But 79 tackles. That's nice. I mean, do factor in he's an edge rusher, so 79 tackles is pretty dang good. And more importantly, in terms of getting to the quarterback, 22 and a half sacks. Oh my gosh. I think if you win a state title, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at the Texas level, Dylan, I think that's like 16 games of play to go that far. So just 22 and a half sacks. Pretty crazy. And he had a couple of those in the state championship winning game for Duncanville, of course, finally getting over the edge in terms of high school football. And Dylan, 7th highest rated commit for the Longhorns in history according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. Of course, now got to factor in that composite wasn't around during the Earl Campbell days or anything like that. But, guys such as Vince Young, etc., are in there. So it's got a good amount of history. Basically, if it's in this century, it's, pretty much, good as new there in terms of everyone that's in the system. But Dylan, how big of a recruiting win? I got all the stats off my chest. I maybe have some more up my sleeve. Can't reveal all my secrets. But what does this recruiting win mean for Longhorns to get a pass rusher that is just, pass rusher through and through in terms of getting to the quarterback and maybe being the guy that Texas has so long needed, for pretty much a couple coaching staffs, if I'm being honest.
Well, listen, everyone needs an edge rusher, Devon. So I think every team is welcoming them with open arms. So it's good to see Texas finally nabbed one, right? First one that came to mind, Devon, before we were talking. Also wanted to preface, before this video, I basically told Devon, we're going to let you cook, because I think he just talked for about 3 minutes before I talked. But
that's a record.
You're about the Longhorns, and this is a solid pickup. I know, bad taste in your mouth from the Harold Perkins incident.
Yes, please.
Where
why you bring that up? Why you bring up old stuff? Huh? That 360 video worked for Harold Perkins, and he's doing work though in Louisiana. I can't hate on him. I can't hate on any defender that ever wants to be an LSU Tiger. That's no. You just give it up. But go ahead. Let me give back the floor.
Well, again, and the biggest thing is when we talk about those stats, but just I don't know if it's historic, but there's significance in this. It's you were able to keep a homegrown guy in Texas or from Texas to stay in Texas and bring him down to the 40 acres, which Texas has struggled to do comparatively to SEC team. Well, Texas now joined the SEC, so the recruitment battles are going to be even more important So winning one like this, nabbing one from LSU, um, kind of get in the way of any Alabama noise, right? So, and also holding off Miami. So again, like these are big recruitment battles. These are the ones you got to win. And now Texas adds a dynamic player, their best player in the 2024 class, which was already pretty low. I think their composite rank, Devon, was around 22. So I would expect this to jump up now with the addition of Colin Simmons. And again, this guy's an absolute baller, and he can honestly make an impact as a freshman, just given his size. We always talk about this with high school players. They need to add a bit of weight going into it, but that's what the offseason is for going into college, because those strength and conditioning coaches make sure you're well fed and lifted enough weight. So in
I
this
say
case, this is a player that will be able to, you know, take charge on defense.
the strength and conditioning coaches have their own definition of the freshman 15. Unfortunately for athletes, Dylan, that's 15 pounds of muscle. That's
Freshman
not
45, yeah.
for some players, yeah, definitely. But now you hit the nail on the head there in terms of everything you said. This is a big move, especially for Texas entering the SEC next season. To be able to beat, of course, all the teams they beat for this guy, but to beat, Alabama and Georgia in terms of, competition for players of this, stature coming off the edge. This is a SEC guy through and through. Some more facts to throw because, of course, I said I always keep some up my sleeve. Simmons is the first five-star D lineman commit to Texas since Alfred Collins in 2020. And, I just put a question mark here. Is he the first, just true pass rusher coming to the Longhorns off of the edge, not necessarily like a D end with, hand in the ground? Is it the first guy they've gotten in a while? It seems like it. And I did some research. I was talking to Dylan about it. Of course, the Alfred Collins stat is something. But to go a little more in depth, it seemed like it's been since Jackson Jeffcoat where you had, Jeffcoat was more of a D end through and through, but it's been about since Jeffcoat since you've had a guy such highly rated that is, basically his sole purpose to rush the passer. And Jeffcoat was a class of 2010 guy, Dylan. 2010. I mean, we have seen. I was joking about it a second ago, but we've seen 10 years of coaching, staffs come and close within that time. It hasn't been pretty for, of course, you loyal Longhorns fans that are, watching this video right now. Our apologies, but of course we have no say over that. But the pros, he's very athletic off the edge. I mean, that's a mic drop. It's like, no duh, Devon. But this guy, when he comes off the line, he is, looking to attack very, very, very fast for someone of his size at 6'3". As Dylan said, he's going to have to put on that freshman 15, the not-so-happy freshman 15, the muscle freshman 15. Our apologies, Colin, but he's hungry enough to do it. And like I said, another pro, he's got good size, 6'3". He's got a good frame to put on that muscle. And then another thing I said is he's a playmaker on defense. A lot of defenders, Dylan, of course, are solid or even great, but they don't end up making that game-changing play that's going to, seal the deal. Texas needs recruits that have the, motor and energy and playmaking ability on defense, as did Joseph Osai a couple of years ago, where literally, Dylan, he won the Longhorns games from the defensive side. That doesn't happen. You usually on defense don't lose games.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're an Iowa defensive team, maybe you do win games because you're only allowing 3 points, 6 points. But, in the Big 12 and soon to be SEC, you need those game-changing plays. So it's easy to see why I'm so excited. Of course, he's, the sky's the limit in terms of potential. Of course, it's on to him and the coaching staff to really put it together and be utilized correctly. And, I put a note of caution, Dylan. I don't want to end the video on a damp subject. But it still is early on in this recruiting cycle. If the Longhorns struggle on the field in 2023, don't be surprised if Simmons opens up that commitment, or at least more actively, I would say, more actively looking around in terms of like, hey, LSU, that 360 video you guys were making is looking a little more tempting right now. I don't know. But
I need my life to dance with Brian Kelly a little bit more.
Of course, but this is going to be I'm sure there's going to be stories about this recruitment in years to come, Dylan. Just with how much recruiting has changed, 360 cameras, of course, included. but it's a big win for Sarkisian and staff. It's a big win for the state of Texas, as Dylan said, keeping recruit in borders. It's easier said than done in this era. But what do you guys think about Colin Simmons to the Longhorns? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, for Dylan's sake, and have a great rest of your day.